Happy New Year and welcome to the Colonel and Mr. Bigg 2026. That's hard to believe, 2026, because we haven't talked to you since New Year's Eve. Mike, how are you today?
I am doing fantastic. We'll get to it, but the Packers last night did not surprise me.
That.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. It's just unbelievable. And I've got some breaking news too that Jacob just shared with me, so you'll be interested in this.
Jacob from Germany shared already?
Yeah. Very interesting news. So.
But we might. You made a announcement online the past week, and maybe we might say some thank yous and just share those numbers right off the bat, and then we'll talk about it at the end of the show too. But you might want to share those immediately.
Yeah. Yep. Our numbers. I just did some tallying this morning. We've got 65 followers on Spotify. And I'm up to, this is a little bit skewed, but I've got 473 followers on my YouTube channel. And between the two, we've had 730 plays on Spotify and 294 plays on YouTube for a total of 1,024. We've had 2,020 impressions between December 11th and January 9th, which means our podcast appeared on someone's screen, not necessarily that they listened to it, but it appeared. We've got 67 or 66% males listening, 28% females, and our biggest listeners are 60 plus and the age group of 28 to 34. And I think I mentioned this the last time on Spotify. It's interesting. Obviously, the majority of our listeners are in the U.S., but we do have a sprinkling from Brazil. So that's kind of interesting. And then just looking, and again, this is a little bit skewed because I had this channel up and running before our podcast, but out of the 473 followers on 1114 Traveler, my YouTube channel, where we also post this, 80% of the listeners are male, 20% are female. It's pretty even, the age groups that listen between the ages of 25 and 65. And then in the last month, my videos that I have on there, including our podcasts, have been seen in the U.S., Germany, France, the UK, Italy, Poland, Canada, the Netherlands, Spain, and Russia. So hopefully we can maybe gain some subscribers from that also. So
a couple of questions. You mentioned that we had 500 downloads on Spotify. Now, what is a download meant that they just open it and listen to it, or?
Yes, that means they listen to it. So we're actually, between YouTube and Spotify, we're over 1,000, but it takes Spotify some time to catch up. So on Spotify alone right now, we've had 730 downloads, but I just got notified a couple of days ago that we hit 500, but we're above that. So that's
now,
good.
It doesn't matter, but is there any way for us to just be the Colonel Mr. Bigg on YouTube rather than people have to go to your, is it possible to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. As long as we let people know, but I'm not sure if you go to YouTube and type in the Colonel Mr. Bigg, I'm not sure if it pops up or not.
Yeah. I'll check that out. I will check that out. I'm pretty sure we can do that.
I'm just thinking that, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I always tell
easier.
people to go to, 1114 Traveler to get it, but
Yep.
a lot of people, I don't know.
I'll look into that because
take a look at.
I could still post it on the 1114 and create our own channel and post it on there too. Yep. Okay.
And it's on Instagram also?
It's not on Instagram. Can't support a podcast, so it's just on Spotify. Yeah, Spotify, YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So most podcasts are on Spotify or YouTube.
Yeah.
Or Apple Music or,
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
I mean, I don't know if it benefits to. I mean, I'm on Apple Music. I don't know if it benefits to put it on there or not. I don't know.
I can try it.
I mean, again, this is only our 11th episode. It's amazing. I mean, that we even have any followers. When we started, we didn't even know if we'd have anybody even think about it. But
well, Rachel,
what I got some friends that listen to it religiously. I mean, and they're always asking, "When's your next podcast coming out?" You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah. Well, I found it funny. Rachel told me yesterday she was talking to Sam about our podcast. I don't know what they were talking about. And Sam said, well, I've only listened to the first one. So my own son isn't even listening. But I know everybody gets busy. I don't even listen. I subscribe to Rogan and Sean Ryan and a bunch of other ones. And, I just tune in when I'm driving somewhere. And
yeah.
so I miss quite a few.
I mean, if I'm sitting around in the evening or something and nothing's on television, I might pop one on just to listen to it. And,
Yeah.
But a lot of people say, "I just finished your 5th podcast." Well, we're on number 10. What do you?
Well, that's interesting though, Tommy, because I'll look back at the Spotify numbers and you can see one through whatever continuously growing. So people are going
Yeah.
back and,
Oh,
and
yeah.
checking those
I
out.
think so. And I
Yeah.
think people, curiosity, I think, if you're looking and you see it pop up, you're going to say, "Hey, I might listen to this," to.
Well, another thing I need to learn how to do is a thumbnail that pulls people in, that attracts their attention. And then I think I've titled these in a way that I wish, hope they grab someone's attention. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got to do a better job at that too. So we'll get there. We'll get
You
there.
know, I don't know that I'll ever get technologically smart enough to do anything, but since the podcast really just entails two old men sitting around talking about everything, it would be nice if we could get to the point maybe that you're sitting at Rick's or you're at the Elroy
Yeah.
Eatery or some cafe and I'm sitting at a cafe and we're kind of doing it that way. That would be
Yeah.
kind of cool to.
Yeah, I could look at that next week. I could go down
But
to
I have
Rick's
no idea how to. I wouldn't know how to take this. I mean, I don't know how to do it on my phone.
I think
I'd
if
have
you
to take this big computer with me. I mean, I suppose you just took your microphone into your phone.
Yeah.
And
or
then-
you, or if you have the Riverside app downloaded on your phone, you should be able to do it because I would tap into the studio like I normally do, and then you should be able to record right off your phone.
Well, I mean, I've got the link on my phone that I could just tap. I mean, that's all I do every week is just tap into the link that I have in my email that you sent to me, and that's how I.
That should
I
work
mean,
on your
I
phone.
never did really. I didn't set up a Riverside account. I suppose I could. I probably should.
Well, if you do, like I was talking,
Because
if you
I don't
start,
know, you have to pay for it or not.
yeah, it's $288 a year.
Okay, because I do want to, and I know you're doing. I do want to record personally for my
Yeah.
kids. I'd like to be able to do that
Yep.
at some point in time. I thought about my brother works for it's called Hamilton County TV, and they do all the sporting events locally around here, and he's one of the broadcasters. But they've got a studio, and I thought about asking Jim, the owner, if I could just come down there maybe once a month and spend an hour or two and just have him record it for me, and then
Okay.
but which probably
Yeah.
would work too. But and I actually probably could do the podcast from there. Realistically, I mean,
Yeah. Maybe that gets me thinking. Maybe next week I will go down to Rick's or somewhere and record
yeah,
from
I
there.
was just thinking, and then
Something
we still need to somehow get to the point where people can call in, or I've asked people for questions, like my breakfast buddies. I said, "Do you guys got any questions you want us to answer on the podcast?" And then my cousin said some ridiculous stuff, sexual thing, and I said, "I'm not gonna. There's no way."
And
So
maybe
then I thought
that's
about putting on Facebook. If you've got any topics or questions that you would like us to answer or talk about, just send them to me privately, and we'll
Yeah.
bring them up and say, "Hey, Jeff from Noblesville, Indiana, has got a question for us." I mean, that we could do that too. I mean,
I would like to get into the sexual aspect of our discussions, but
well,
I've
got a
I don't know
new
how to,
segment
I don't know how
I would like to. We talked about shitting in public, and
Yep.
we had too much stuff going this week. But another thing I thought about, we would entitle it "Sex on the Beach," and then talk about all the weird, different places that not only we but other people have had sex. That'd be kind of interesting.
because there's a lot of stuff
But
that
I've had people. In fact, my buddy in Atlanta, him and his wife listen to us religiously together. He puts it up, and they sit there in their recliners and listen to it. But she said, "Tom, we were listening to your shitting in public," and she said, "You know what really frustrates the hell out of me?" And I said, "What's that?" She said, "I'll go in the ladies' restroom, and you'll sit down, and the lady next to you in the next stall is on the phone carrying on a conversation, and you're trying to shit. And
Yeah.
I said, well, I never thought about that, but that's so it has generated some thought at least. I mean, that's a good thing. So
Well, I was going to say I'd like to get into the sexual stuff. I just don't want to reveal too much personal stuff. But I guess
no, I
if we
don't.
spoke
And we
about it
could,
in a
you know,
yeah, yeah,
well, we could always say, a friend of mine did this, a friend of mine
yep,
did that.
and it's really us.
Yeah, right, exactly, right. I
All
had one
right.
friend say, "When you guys going to talk about those European spas again?" I said, "I don't
Hey,
know."
we are going back over the 6th of February and spending a few days in Amsterdam and traveling through Belgium and northern France and the Loire Valley. And the day before we stop with the kids, we're actually going to a place called Palais, and it's Palais Thermal, and it's a 4-story building. And the first floor is clothing optional. The floors second, 2, 3, and 4 are completely nude, and they've got the cold plunge, the thermal baths, the saunas, the steam rooms. But
Really?
the fourth floor is going to be very interesting because it's an open deck with a heated thermal pool overlooking the Black Forest and the city of Bad
Oh
Walden,
my gosh,
Wild Bad, where we're going. So,
that
and
would be great.
that is completely nude. So, I thought whenever we go, obviously I can't take my phone in, but there are pictures and video online that I can put onto this podcast so people can actually see, or they can Google it too and see what
Either
it
that, or
looks
could
like.
you could you somehow put a camera implanted into the head of your penis, maybe, and just as you walk around, you could film.
It'd have to be micro.
So if you're in Amsterdam, are you going to the red light district? I think you ought to take Jill down to the red light district.
When we were in Nuremberg, we turned the wrong corner and hit the red light district with the boys when they were little. We'll probably, if
Because
we're
you
close.
could actually take pictures. I mean, I think they still have women standing outside or in the windows or something in that area.
Yeah.
I don't. You could probably take pictures as long as you're outside, but
Yep.
that'd be cool.
Yep.
Just to,
But getting
oh
back to
well.
the spas, so we're doing that one on the 16th of February, and then I'm trying to convince Jill to go back down to Schwabenquellen, the one in Stuttgart, which is FKK, which is there's no clothing optional at all.
Yeah,
It's all nude.
that's close to Jacob, right?
Yeah, and she said, I don't know if I want to go there again. And I'm like, well, would you care if I went? And she goes, no, absolutely not. Go ahead and go. So I'm going. I'm going for the health reasons.
That's right. That's exactly right.
All right. Do you want to discuss our sponsor?
Yeah, we got several sponsors, and we're going to spread them out rather than do them all at once, like
Yep.
we have been in the past. We just spread them out throughout the show so we can kind of talk about them. First up is our premier sponsor that has been with us forever, and that's Healthy Prelude, or www.theshitsthebomb.com. And go to the Shits Apothecary. I noticed that was online, and that's where most of the stuff is. But today we're going to talk about magnesium oil roller, and I think that you've said that Jill uses this, but it's perfect for anyone looking for natural relief from daily aches, muscle tension, restless nights, constipation, and more. These roller bottles work great for athletes to throw into the gym bag or use on the sidelines when a muscle spasm occurs. Easy to apply roller bottle to keep your hands free with a fast applications made with DI water, magnesium, MSM, organic xanthan gum, and essential oils of bergamot, lavender, spearmint, basil, and it's unscented. Again, that's healthyprelude.com. The item is magnesium oil roller, and I got a picture of it. I'll send it to you. Maybe you can put it up when you edit it. But go online now, and all those products are available for shipment now that the holidays are over. Probably be a little better to get those. So again, that's healthyprelude.com, and go to the Shits Apothecary, and there's numerous products in there you guys can order, and we'll help you from a health standpoint.
Tommy, speaking of that roller, Jill has that. She actually had one taken away when we were flying through Heathrow because it has magnesium in it. Yep. But this one I used last week myself. I've been lifting a lot and doing a lot of squats, and my quads were just killing me. And even when I would sleep at night, I would wake up, in pain. And I started rolling this stuff on my legs. I sleep through the night. My legs by the next morning don't hurt anymore. It is fantastic stuff.
Yeah, she's got great products. I still use that Wool Charlie for a lot of things, and one thing it did not help, and it's nothing against it, but every once in a while I'll get one of my fingers, either my fingers or my thumb will start itching, and it like this time it itched for 3 days, and I could not get it to stop. The only way to get it to stop is to freeze it. And I do that, and you freeze it, and I almost freeze it too solid, and it doesn't hurt for like an hour until it thaws, and it hurts again. But I put Wool Charlie on there. I put some of her other pain medicine on there. It did relieve it for a little bit, but it's got to be everything you research is diabetic related and has something to do with the nerve endings and stuff. But it doesn't happen all the time. I try to think about when it does hurt, what did I do? Did I eat something I shouldn't have? Did I touch something? And I can never figure out. I've asked the doctors; they have no clue. They don't know, what it is. And
do you think you're putting it somewhere that it shouldn't be?
well, I usually put my whole fist though, not just my thumb. So it's kind of it's kind of crazy, but it's just weird. It's kind of one of those weird things that happens. And but when it happens, Ayla came home from school one day, and I tell you what, I was at a point where I was about ready to cut the damn thing off. I mean, it got to the point where it was that bad, and she said, "Papa, you want me to call 911?" And I said, "Do you know how to do that?" And so, well, then she gave me, and I said, "Do you know our address?" And well, of course, then she told her mom that Papa wanted her to call 911, and then Rachel called her sister, my other daughter. My other daughter rushed over, thinking I was, it was just on and on. I guess when you get old, they worry about you're going to die in your sleep or something. Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, Wool Charlie works on my hands, my arthritis. It just would not work. And I constantly was putting it on there, and it would relieve it for like 10 or 15 minutes, and it just wouldn't. And I probably should talk to Anna. She may have a product that's probably maybe better for that. But
yeah.
But most of her products are excellent. So.
Yep. Good deal. Good deal. New Year's Eve, did you do anything fun?
We didn't. We just had that watch party for the football, and then New Year's Day I did corned beef cabbage and mashed potatoes and black-eyed peas, and Penny and I again watched football. And then, I don't do resolutions anymore. We did talk about a few goals, and not goals, but maybe some things we want to get done this year and things like that. And I guess when you get older, like when you're younger, everybody says, now make a bucket list, do that. As you get older, your bucket list changes, I think, from year to year, or maybe even from month to month, the things you want to put on your bucket list. And I forget who told me this, but somebody says you will never empty your bucket. I mean, you can have a list that you'll never empty it. I mean, you'll die before it's emptied. So
yep.
Always adding stuff, to the bucket list, let's do this, let's do that. So, but really, no, I mean, just to be healthy and things like that. But we don't do resolutions anymore. We just but New Year's was kind of quiet, and it's the New Year started off very hectic for me anyway, from a working standpoint, and Penny's work also. It's just been hectic ever since it started. So it seems like we're always on the go, always doing something, or something's going on. So
yeah. Yeah, same here. We just stayed at home, really, and kids were here and watched some football. And we're the same way. We don't do any resolutions, but we just I tried to. Yeah. One thing I want to do more this year, and I think I mentioned it before, is to read more. I've already got one book under my belt, and I've got another one ordered. And do that a little bit more. Continue exercising, stay healthy, and make memories.
Well, let's mention the college football playoffs, since we're right in the heat of that. And I'll tell you what, I'm a diehard Purdue fan, but. Indiana's for real. There's no doubt about that.
God.
I mean, what they did to Oregon. I mean, Alabama shouldn't have been there in the first place. So what they did to Alabama, but what they did to Oregon, because I thought that was going to be a close game. I really did think it was going to be a close game. I think Indiana-Miami will be a tight game. But I thought Oregon-Indiana would be a tight game. So you just never know with this team. So I'm hoping it's a good game. I mean, I don't really want it to be a blowout, but we've seen a lot of national championship games that were blowouts. So
they're favored by 7.5.
Yeah, I wouldn't discount them none whatsoever. And of course, our future son-in-law is a diehard Miami fan. Of course, he's got A T-shirt showed up here. I don't know if you remember back when Notre Dame played Miami, back when they were the Thugs. It was Catholics versus
Yep. Yep.
convicts.
Yep.
Well, now there's a new one out: cornfields versus convicts. Of course, my future son-in-law now is going nuts. He's number one. He says they're not convicts anymore. So, and I'm sure they're not. It's not near as bad as it was.
Right.
And he said that cornfield thing's a white thing, isn't it? And I thought, oh my God, we're not going to go there, are we? It has nothing to do. I'm sure there's black farmers in the South that has corn, so it's not something that's. But you know, if
racial.
somebody comes up with that, and they'll sell thousands of those T-shirts and make a fortune. I wish I'd thought of it. I didn't think of quick enough, but I think it'll be a good game. The bad thing is on Monday night, NFL won't let them play on the weekend, so they got to play Monday night, and it's tough to have a watch party on a Monday night, which is school night. But
Yep.
should be a good game.
Yeah, we realized there was a high school basketball game that we were going to go to, and now we're not going to because we want to watch the national championship. But yeah, Indiana's favored by 7.5. So I think
7.5
Miami
right now.
I think Miami will play tough though. But I still am
It's a
rooting
home
for
game too. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing they can do about that. They book those so many years in advance. You never know who's going to be there. So it's.
But how many people
But-
do you think? How many people do you think took the week off and left right from Atlanta and are down in Miami right now?
Would surprise me. Now at the Rose Bowl, they say the crowd was 90% Indiana fans.
Mm-hmm.
At the Peach Bowl, they said it was 65 to 70%. And they're thinking at Miami it might be 50-50, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's 60-40 Indiana fans there because they travel. You know, they have the largest alumni group of any university in the country.
Yeah.
So it's
Did you
it'll
see
be a
the-
good game.
Did you see the cost of the Peach Bowl tickets?
Oh, I looked, yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, the cheapest ticket to go to the national championship game right now is $3,800, and that's in the upper deck.
Nope.
I don't know how people go. I don't. It's crazy.
Yeah. I'll sit at home. I've got my own bathroom, my own
That's
fridge.
exactly right.
So
You have a cooler if you want a beer right beside you, and you don't have to worry about paying $12 or $15 for a beer or whatever. But
yeah.
let's get into these lowly NFL playoffs. Oh my God!
I've got some breaking news. Jacob sent me this it was on X from Adam Schefter.
Well, you got to remember, he's 12 hours ahead of us.
Yeah,
Jacob
yeah.
is. So,
But-
I mean, he might know something sooner than we. I mean, I don't know. But
Well, we would have been able to see this, but I think he's just probably scanning it more than we are, obviously. But according to Adam Schefter, Schefter, is that his name? Schefter?
yeah, Schefter, yeah.
Matt LaFleur, there's going to be a discussion, obviously, I think tomorrow regarding he's only got 1 year left on his contract. But here's the kicker. Bob Harlan, who is the former president of the Packers, his son Brian represents John Harbaugh. So Brian Harlan, Bob Harlan, who was the president of the Packers, his son Brian is John Harbaugh's representative, his agent. And John has a house in the Upper Peninsula,
Right.
Midwestern. He's got Midwestern ties, and so there is thought that if LaFleur is fired, he'll go to the top of the list, for other teams. But there's a good chance because of this connection that Harbaugh could come to Green Bay. So
I
we'll
said
see
to
what
Penny
happens
that
there.
last night. I said, I want John Harbaugh as our coach.
Yep.
I want Jason Garrett as our offensive coordinator because I saw an interview with him and he wants to get back in coaching. And he said,
Yep.
I would even start off as an offensive coordinator if I could.
Yep.
And then find a defensive coordinator. I mean, I would go after the defensive coordinator of Indiana is what I would go after. I mean, that guy's.
You know who else I'd want on my staff? John Gruden. John Gruden.
Yeah, I don't know that because he's still in a lawsuit with the NFL. I don't know if the NFL would approve that or not, but I would love to have him, but I think he wants to be head coach.
Yeah, I do too. He's going to win his lawsuit, and then he'll be back in the coaching realm.
He will. But John Harbaugh, I think, as soon as he was let go, I told Penny, I said, I don't want the Packers to lose the Bears. I think they probably will, but I hope they do so that we can get John Harbaugh.
Yeah. Yep. And
I
the way
think
they lost last night was typical of Matt LaFleur. So
You know
conservative.
what?
They had,
It pissed me. I didn't get home till the second half, but
oh God.
I saw him while the defense is on the field. He's sitting back with the quarterback on a goddamn iPad.
Hmm.
Now, how can you coach the game by doing that? I don't understand it.
They looked like two different teams. The first half, they couldn't do anything wrong. And the second half, I think the third quarter, they had a total of 29 offensive yards.
Well, the Bears made tremendous,
Adjustments.
changes,
Yep. Yep.
and Packers did nothing.
Nothing. And that's LaFleur's MO. He never makes an adjustment. He gets so
And Love
conservative.
looks stupid. I mean, Love threw two of those intentional groundings in a row, and he's
Yeah.
never done that. I don't,
He's had
it's
he's
just,
had one other one in his career, and he had two last night.
yeah, yeah.
I also
They
posted.
just, you know,
I posted I'd get rid of the special teams coach. He's lost us I don't know how many games.
I'd
McManus
clear
needs
it all out. I'd clear
McManus
them all
needs to
out.
go. Yeah, Jacob rattled off to me today how many guys they're going to lose. Josh Jacobs and all these other guys because of contracts. And then I would trade Jordan Love and bring in Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
He'd
Although
come with
Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson don't get along at all. Ever since he negotiated his own contract the last time, he and Harbaugh has not. And a lot of people say that's what was the downfall of the Ravens was the arrangement they had. I mean, there's a lot of other quarterbacks that I don't think I don't think they'll get rid of Love, but I think with the right coach, Love could really be good. I mean, I really do think that.
I do too. I do too. Yeah, I would love to have Harbaugh. Love to have him. So we'll see what
They
happens.
might bring McCarthy back.
Yeah. Yeah.
They say
There was
McCarthy
talk.
might go to the Ravens. They think he might go to the Ravens or the Giants.
Yeah, and I also saw possibly Atlanta. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
which wouldn't be a bad job. I mean,
Yeah. Big carousel. Big carousel.
but some good games today. I mean,
Yeah.
they're saying the Jaguars are going to beat the Bills. That's hard for me to believe, but the Jaguars have been playing well.
I watched talking about the Bills real quick. I watched an episode. It was produced a year or so ago with Peyton Manning and doing a spoof on all the bad luck that Buffalo has had
Yeah,
since McKinley, I think, was assassinated in Buffalo.
yeah, right. Yeah,
And it was hilarious, but it was very interesting between hockey and every other sport, especially the football team, how much bad luck they've had this year. And they did him and Josh Allen went to Niagara Falls and put all this stuff in a barrel and tried to get rid of the bad juju.
Oh
So
yeah, I
we'll see.
remember that. Yeah,
We'll see if it
yeah,
works.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the
But yeah,
49ers will
it's
back off
going to
the
get
Eagles.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know about the Eagles and 49ers. I don't know if 49 they should beat them, but
Yeah.
I guess if the 49ers beat the Eagles, then they go to the Rams, I think, and then the Bears would play. I don't know how it goes.
Well, Seattle would get the lowest seed, whoever comes out of the NFC.
Between the 49ers and or no, yeah, if the 49ers win, then
Yeah.
they go to Seattle, and then the Bears will play the Rams, right? In Chicago, that's right. Yeah.
Yep. And then I'm looking
Fun time
forward
of
to
the year.
Monday night's game too. I'm really hoping that Rodgers can move
You know
on.
what? I don't know. Texas defense is so tough, and although he's got Metcalf back, and he's the last couple of games he's looked really good. I mean,
Yeah.
I think if he loses, I think he's done. But again, he's played well, so you never know. You don't know how his mind works.
One inkling I heard is that he could go to Minnesota and help coach and train up McCarthy or whatever young quarterback they get in there. You know,
Yeah, it wouldn't.
have Rodgers help that. But I don't think that happens.
He followed Favre to the Jets. He might as well follow him to the Vikings. I mean,
You know, I know he loves
speaking of that,
Tomlin.
health-wise, I guess Favre's not doing well at all. I guess
Yeah.
he's not making many public appearances anymore. And
No, Parkinson's. Yeah.
yeah.
It's too bad. He's a great guy. Great guy.
He is a good guy, really good. And he's a great quarterback. I just watched a documentary on Elway. It was very interesting. He's got a new documentary out about him, and that was that was good.
I'll have to check that out.
Where he was drafted by the Colts and refused to go, and they traded him to Denver, and the Yankees drafted him. Actually, he thought very seriously about playing baseball. But it was good. I mean, he's divorced now. He just said, football life, sometimes it doesn't work in marriage, and But
Yeah.
it's on. I think it's on Netflix.
I'll have to
I don't
check
know.
that
I just
out.
watched it the other day. I was flipping around, and it's called Elway, and I thought it was is really good.
I'll check that out. Well, we had alumni weekend here yesterday, Tommy, and Royal does this every year. And you remember years past, we used to have hundreds of people show up, and then that evening we'd go down to a local bar, and it would just be
Right? Yeah,
packed.
it was a lot. That was fun, and we
A
did
lot of
concessions
fun.
that time. We did a
Yeah,
lot of. We made a lot of money.
yeah. And then things kind of dwindled over the years, and then last year a new gentleman took it over, and a Royal grad that has a business dealing with these types of things. And they had a good turnout last year, but then this year our numbers were up even more. I think he had between 55 and 60 sign up for volleyball and basketball. And I took a picture and posted it on our alumni Facebook page, and good crowd watching and good concessions. I raised $1,700 in sponsorships, and there's money left over, so hopefully next year we just grow it even more. And we're talking about hiring 2, 3, 4 young people to babysit the young kids, so we get more families. And we're even talking about having a Little Tykes basketball game for the little kids to go up and down the
Yeah,
court with a couple
that'd
of
be
Little
fun.
Tykes hoops. Yeah,
Yeah,
so grow it even more, and maybe get a business involved, or like you mentioned, the American Legion to go to afterwards and open
yeah.
up the bar and have some food, and a lot of
I
fun.
know
So
Rachel, our daughter, drove up. She, of course, graduated from there, and she had a really good time. Took the two girls up and
yep,
played. Stayed with some of her friends, and the girls got to play with their kids, and she had a great time. So
yeah, yeah. So it's always good to
we
see.
wanted to come, but we had a Purdue game, I basketball game yesterday. We went to see them play Penn State, and but we would love to come up. Hopefully next year we can make it. So
Yeah, yeah. Just one other quick thing while we were doing the games, I had the Badgers on knocking off number 2 Michigan. That was huge.
without question, yeah, we were watching that on the phone while we were at Purdue, and it's
Yeah,
amazing. You know, they play. I mean, Purdue's good. There's no doubt about that. And Purdue made them look bad, but they play bad that game, and then they go on the road and go to Michigan and beat them. I mean, it's kind
yeah,
of the Big Ten's just brutal. It's like Nebraska being undefeated. I mean, Indiana had
yeah,
them down 17 points, and then they come back and beat them. I mean, it's just
yeah.
you just never know.
Yep, yep.
I wanted to bring up some. You know, we talk about the older I get. You know, what do you have really? You have family and memories and things like that. And you are too. But I'm very fortunate to have a lot of friends that I call alumni friends because number one, I went to high school with a lot of them, and secondly, my first job, I'm still friends with those people, and then some jobs I've been in. But I thought it might be good on here, and I hopefully they all listen to this. But I just wanted to mention a few names, if I could, real quick. I don't have a full page here, but I got a few names here. But I met Jeff Sherrill, a good friend of mine, in third grade, and him and I are still good friends to this day. And so in third grade, we would have been 9 years old. So that's 65 years that we've been friends. And another high school friend, Dan Smith, who all of us was on the same little league team, and then we went to Nosal High School and graduated together, and then we kind of moved away and lost track of him. And then actually, he's the one that got me the job at the high school as concession manager, and still communicate with him on a regular basis. And then, of course, my brother Perry Williams, who I see 2 or 3 times a week. And then we've got our group at breakfast: Rick Robinson, Bill Carey, Mike Dreer, and Doug Robinson, who all went to Nosal High School, where I went. We're all alumni, and still are good friends. It's just I think it's real important that, and I'm amazed I still have those friends around. But it's kind of like when you get old, it's you don't see anybody or talk to anybody in years, and then you can just start up a conversation like you saw him
Yeah,
yesterday. It's just,
yep.
but for example, I worked with a lady. I was a co-manager at a grocery store, and she was the flower department manager, and we became pretty good friends. And she ended up marrying a friend of mine who also was co-manager at that store, and they owned a flower shop in Florida for 30 years, and now they're in the mountains north of Georgia and own a flower shop, a kind of a Whatnot Shop or whatever, little grocery store thing, and I've been communicating with him online, and it's amazing. And the reason that started, he sent me a comment about the podcast. He said, "I've been watching your podcast," and so we just struck up a conversation and those type things. But it's just great that we a few more names. Standard Grocery, the store that I started working with, I think I talked about that. Steve Knott, Bill Marion, Bob Williams, Winston Heldon, still very good friends, and Mike Baker, who I worked with at Pillsbury, I hired him to come to work for me, and then Frank Garlic and Alan Abel from Winter Bread that I worked at, and all those guys listen to our podcast, and I'm just extremely fortunate, as you are, to have friends that I've had for a long time, and actually, as I speak in here, I thought what might be a good idea, Sunday the 25th, we'll do a podcast, and we're going to be in Dauphin Island, and I'd love to do a podcast that day, and I don't know if this is possible or not, but Jeff Sherrill, the gentleman I just mentioned, we've been friends since third grade, and his wife are going to go with us. That day, if you could get Randy Fry, your friend forever, and I'll have Jeff, I think we could have a nice conversation about, they probably could tell stories he could tell stories on you, and Jeff could tell stories. I mean, I think it'd be a good conversation if we could do that. I just think it might be fun to do that. Since we're going to be together, and if we have to do it a different day, we don't have to do it on Sunday. If Randy couldn't do it on a Sunday, if we had to do it Saturday night or whatever, I mean, we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to be in the condo. So,
okay.
But I think that'd be fun to do. But
I'll talk to him.
And you, being in the military, I mean, you got friends all over the world because of that. And but I just think as you get older, those things, those memories, the conversations that you have now with old friends when you kind of reminisce about the old days and things like that, it's just, I think that makes life important today, and you don't have to worry about stupid stuff like shootings in Minneapolis and Venezuelan war and all that stuff. So it's kind of good to have that.
Absolutely, and you hit it on the head. The head with a true friend is somebody that you haven't seen in a long time, and like you said, you can pick up a conversation like you've been together every day. I mean, we're like that, Tommy. We see each other physically probably once or twice a year if we're lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as soon as you pop in the door or I pop in the door, we're talking like we've lived next to each other for forever. So
that's what Alumni Weekend's good for too. There's some guys you haven't seen forever, maybe since you were in school, and you can just start talking. And it's just and every school has those. I know my boss told me that he's going to miss one of our games because he's got to go to his daughter's college alumni weekend. Which again, I just think. Those are what true friends really are. I mean, you have some friends during school that you don't do that with, but there's a true friend, I think, is someone that you can do that with.
Yeah. I had one of my good friends from high school and in college and played sports basketball with him was Bob Brown when I was in high school. Tremendous basketball player. Well, yesterday, as I'm sitting at the scorer's table, his son is sitting over my left shoulder, and he asked if I was going to go out tonight, and he said Bob was going to be out. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. I drank with Bob so much in high school and college, I said, I think I'm going to take tonight off. And we were laughing about that. So here I am talking to his son who's out of school now and one of the top scorers at Royal. And it was just fun to talk to him about what him and his dad and I used to do in high school and college. So,
Well, up there, it's a small knit community. I mean, here is too. Noblesville, when I went to high school, was very small, and it was a very small knit community, very similar to what, the Elroy Kendall area is now. And it's growing tremendously, but a lot, like we talked before, a lot of those people never leave.
Yeah,
they stay there. It's just
Yeah, and you're talking about friends. I just got a text from a young man who's not a first sergeant, and he and I have been friends since 2007. He was my personal security guard when I was in Iraq, and he just deployed again, and he's over in Kuwait right now, heading somewhere into CENTCOM, and he sent me a picture. This is one of our favorite places to get coffee. It's called Green Beans.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's there right now and just send me a text. But you're talking about friends. I mean, this is somebody that, I didn't know from Adam back in 2007, and now we're extremely tight.
Yep.
So praying for him as he deploys again.
Sure.
Yep. Bourbon? You were going to talk bourbon?
I didn't. I didn't do that today. I
Okay.
added. Do you have? Maybe we're not on the same page. I don't know, but I've got sponsor. You got a Trailview Meat
Oh,
sponsorship you wanted to
I
talk about?
yeah, I sure can. So again, Trailview Meats, located just a couple of miles outside of Elroy on Highway 71, owned by Cody Vossen, and Cody sells ground beef. I had to tell you, the kids were here this weekend, and we browned up ground beef for tacos and chili. And Cody, you can just tell this is homegrown
Yes.
beef, grass fed, grain fed, just excellent ground beef. And he sells it in 1 and 2 pound packages. He has all sorts of steaks available: ribeyes, porterhouse, T-bones, sirloins, New York strip, tenderloins, and flanks, and roasts. He's got chuck roasts and prime roasts and briskets, short ribs, and just a bunch of other stuff at very, very reasonable prices. And like I said, we've bought Cody meat from Cody for the last almost 2 years now, and it's nothing better. If you can find a place that you can buy, corn-fed, grass-fed cattle, and you know what's actually being put into those animals, and that Cody has some fantastic heads of cattle at his farm, at his ranch, and if you're interested in Trailview Meats, and I'll post this online, so if anybody's watching on YouTube, they can see it. But if you're interested, give Tom or me a shout, and we can tell you how to find Cody. We can hook you up with him, and you can delve into some tremendous, tremendous meat and roasts and hamburger and all that type of stuff. So
Did he
Trailview
play
Meats, just
yesterday?
outside Elray. He did
Did he
not, and
play
we were
yesterday? He
talking.
did.
He didn't, and Cody's got three little boys now, and I'm
Yeah.
sure if he gets a day off, he wants to enjoy some time off, and
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
he's still into woodworking and obviously the meat and his ranch and working full time as a physical therapist. So he's probably busier than a lot of us.
Pretty busy.
So
Yeah. There's a
yeah,
guy around here. I forget the name of the place. He raises Wagyu beef,
yeah,
and he does that. I don't. I mean, I saw him at at a farmer's market one time, and I forgot to get a card. And we'll see him this coming spring. But I've always wanted to try that. But yeah, if you get it directly from a farmer, you don't have to go through all that stuff that goes through the slaughterhouse and all that stuff. There's
yeah,
no question. It's got to be better meat. I mean.
absolutely, absolutely.
So you want to briefly touch on this shooting in Minneapolis? Put a little politics in there,
Yeah,
maybe. I don't
we
want to really
can.
dive into it too deep, but it's kind of. I think
It
some guy told me the other day, and I imagine I think he is a Democrat, but anyway, he said it kind of depends on whether you're a Democrat or Republican how you look at this thing. And I said, well, that's everything in politics, isn't it? It kind of depends how you look at it. I mean, and then Penny mentioned today, and
did he
she's
have a
on.
reason?
Uh, he just said that he thought it was avoidable, that the guy could have shot out a tire, and they say, and I said, wait a minute, the car's 5 feet from you, it's coming right at you. Are you going to shoot down at a tire? I mean, your first reaction is to pull your gun and shoot. I mean, you don't. Should he have shot her in the head? I don't. I don't think he meant. I think he meant to shoot her, but I mean, I don't know what he meant to shoot her in the head, but that's all he saw basically in the windshield. So my
Here's
whole
what gets
thing is,
me.
and I'm not into politics big time, but my whole thing is, if law enforcement tells you to do something, do it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's all you got to do. Just
yeah.
obey and do it. I mean, she didn't have to lock the door and not get out of her car, and just get out of the car and do it. Just do what they ask you to do. Now,
Well, this wasn't her
it's
first time
unfortunate she
being
got. No, it's not.
with the law either. I mean, she's got a rap sheet on her. So, but here's what gets me is when Charlie Kirk or Ashley Babbitt, who was at the January 6th at the Capitol, when they get shot, some people will say, well, they had it coming.
Yeah.
But when somebody tries to run over a law enforcement person, ICE or whomever, well,
Right.
they didn't deserve that. It's just, it's just so hypocritical, some of the thought process. That's what
It
ticks
is.
me off. That's what gets
And I
me.
think it depends. And again, if you're Democratic, you're not going to see any other different way. You're not going to even think about it. Could
Yep.
that he was legit in doing what he did. I mean, you're going to say, I mean, Penny was saying today, she was just trying to turn so she could back up and get out of the way. And I'm thinking, why would you go right straight at the guy? Well, she turned before he got to him. Well, he didn't know she was going to turn before she got there. I mean,
Why would you even try to drive off? If law
yeah.
enforcement's telling you to stop, you stop.
And then her wife was out there yelling at the cops and videotaping the whole thing, and just I don't know, that whole city is just a mess. I mean,
Oh
I
God.
think that Trump ought to send the National Guards in there and clean that city up. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, it's
Yep. Yep. You've
and
got
then
a
while we're on
governor.
politics, real quick, I heard today, and I never really thought about this Venezuelan thing, that Trump, we don't want the oil. We don't want their oil. I mean, they have the largest oil reserve anywhere in the world. We don't want
Yep.
their oil. We do want to stop their drugs, but the main reason that we did this was to keep our main adversary from getting the oil,
Yep.
which is
Uh,
China.
China and Russia. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and a lot of people never thought about that. That's why it happened. And then, I mean, he was justified in doing what he did. And it's, again, there was this professor on talking about that. And he said, here's the real reason that Trump went into Venezuela. And when he explained it, it made a lot of sense. I mean, it wouldn't make sense to Schumer, but it made a lot of sense to me anyway.
Well, Schumer just a few short years ago thought we should have been in Venezuela taking that guy out, Biden, but now
Exactly.
they changed their story. But the whole Venezuelan thing, China was there when we captured Maduro. They were there
Really?
negotiating, yeah. And I heard that from a very reliable source who is into this stuff. And then I got to tell you about this too. They heard this, and I've seen this on different sources now, so I believe it's true. There was a security guard in Venezuela that said he was being asked what happened the day of the raid. He said they were on guard, and all of a sudden their radar system shut down without any explanation. The next thing they saw were drones, a lot of drones flying over our positions, and we didn't know how to react. And then the interviewer said, what happened next? And he said, the drones appeared, some helicopters arrived, very few, barely 8 helicopters, and from those helicopters, soldiers came down, but a very small number. He said maybe 20 men. But those men were technologically very advanced. Well, I probably know who those people were because I worked with them.
Sure.
And then the interviewer said, and the battle began. He goes, yes, but it was a massacre. We were hundreds, but we had no chance. They were shooting with such precision and speed. It seemed like each soldier was firing 300 rounds per minute. We couldn't do anything. And he said, and your weapons, didn't they help? And the security guard said, no, because it wasn't just the weapons. At one point, the United States launched something. I don't know how to describe it. It was like a very intense sound wave. Suddenly, I felt like my head was exploding from the inside. We all started bleeding from the nose. Some were vomiting blood. We fell to the ground, unable to move. So
Huh.
the U.S. has some weaponry that we don't know about
That we don't know about. Huh.
probably immobilized everybody, so they were able to go in there and not lose anyone. Very interesting.
I mean, I don't think it'll happen in our lifetime, but do you ever think that there will be robotic soldiers?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can remember when I was at JSOC, the big thing they were talking about then were the drones. The drones were just coming out. And a
Right.
big fear was these countries could launch tiny, tiny drones that would fit in your hand. You could send 50, 70, 80,000 to a stadium, all GPS coordinated, and wipe out the whole stadium. That was one big fear. And now drones are being
Yeah.
used all over the world, and robots
Oh,
are
yeah,
next.
everywhere.
And we'll get to the point where they're.
I mean, I know they're
probably won't
working.
be
I know they're
human.
working on it. I know they're working on them, but I mean,
Yeah.
and you see, I saw a report on TV that on some show, but they said that eventually they could certainly turn to that. I mean, kind of like a Star Wars thing, It's kind
Yeah.
of futuristic, but it's crazy.
Yeah. Yep, there will be here.
All right, you want to talk about these pigs went to market? You want to talk about Berghoff a little bit?
Yeah, real quick. So one place we visited back in September, Jill and myself, we were in Berchtesgaden, which was a huge Nazi occupied area back during World War II. Well, we stayed at a hotel up on this mountain, and when you were swimming, you could see the eagle's nest, Hitler's retreat that was given to him on his birthday. Well, one day Jill and I walked down into the woods. We knew Hitler's home in Berchtesgaden in Obersalzberg, actually, was just down the hill from us. So it was only less than 1,000 meters. And we walked down the hill, and you can still see the remnants, the footprint of the Berghof, his house that was built in, that he used during World War II. And this home was constructed in 1916, and I'll put some pictures on, and renovated in 35 and 36. It was demolished in 1952 after the war. A guy named Otto Winter had built it. Hitler had stayed there in 22 and 23, and he purchased the home in 1933 with funds from his manifesto Mein Kampf. And the home was actually used as a propaganda tool. Hitler would stay there 2 to 3 months out of the year, but it was used as a propaganda tool to soften his image and portray him as a man of culture, family, and a lover of dogs. And the area during World War II, he had so many visitors that would come as he was coming up into power, they actually had to restrict the area, and no one was allowed in there for quite some time. But I found something interesting as I was researching this. When the troops reached the burning villa, because the SS had set it ablaze on the 25th of April of 1945, they found tons of supplies and tunnel systems. And Jill and I actually saw some of these tunnel systems built into the hillside when we were visiting. And they found tons of supplies, wines, stolen loot, and Hermann Goering had amassed a huge collection of bras. They found a ton of bras. The guy was a weirdo, so I found that interesting.
Like
yeah. So I'm going to post some pictures of this.
Is there something wrong with that, though?
I don't think so.
I mean, I got a collection of panties in my bottom drawer in here.
But what was so neat, when Jill and I walked down the hill from our hotel, and then you can see where the driveway was. It's still in the woods. And then there's some of the basement, the foundation is still there. And it was just her and I in the woods. And as you're standing, you're thinking to yourself, just think of the people that were here and what happened here. And, Hitler was here and Himmler and all these. It was just crazy to think where we were at and that there's still stuff there. And it's maintained and kept. It's just, like I said, the foundation, the walls. I'll post some pictures, but a very, very interesting
like Mount
place.
Vernon here. I mean, they keep that over there. That's a kind of a monument, I guess. I mean, it's their history. It's certainly their history. It's some history that people don't want to know about, but I mean, and I've never really studied Hitler at all, but I mean, if you get into the guy and some of the things that he did, the guy was brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, and sounds like he did have a home. I mean, he's human. He had a home. He had dogs. So, I mean, it's, the guy, and no, the guy's terrible. He was a dictator. He was a horrendous person, but they really shows this human side to him a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what they were trying to do with a lot of the pictures from this place. But there's a fantastic brand new museum just up the hill from the Berghof, where the Berghof was. And the Germans really downplay World War II and obviously Hitler. They rarely talk about. But if you go to Berchtesgaden, there's a couple of museums there, and we've stood right over his bunker in Berlin where that was, where he allegedly killed himself. I don't think he did, but anyway. A lot of these sites, a lot of the German people, they downplay what happened or don't want to talk about it. But you do find these places where you can still go and visit and learn a lot and find out what happened. So very, very interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
Very interesting. Let me talk about one more sponsor real quick before we go.
Yep.
It's a cafe here locally. It's called Erica's Place. 2 locations, 40 West Jackson Street in Cicero, Indiana, and 654 Logan Street in Noblesville, Indiana. Some of the staff's been there for over 15 years. I want to talk briefly about our waitress on Wednesday mornings in Noblesville. Her name is Trish. I'm not sure what her last name is. I could guess, but I don't want to be wrong. She's just a real sweetheart and a fabulous waitress, and just jokes around with us and takes all of our brunt of our jokes and everything. But that's in Noblesville. But all the wait staff's fantastic. They serve breakfast all day long. They have daily specials, fish and chips, lasagna, chicken and noodles. There might be some others. One of their favorites is, of course, the breaded tenderloin, which is a big deal in Indiana. They have a senior menu that I take advantage of now that I am a senior. They're open 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sunday. Go visit Erica's Place in Cicero, Noblesville. Good food, and they also have carryouts available.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. What do you got planned for the week, Tommy, before we hang things up here?
Well, I got 3 ball games. We got still doing concessions, and in fact, I just went to school today and made an order out for. We sold a lot of stuff this week, so I got to do that. Penny's got some work to do, and Ale will have a ball game next Saturday, so we'll do that. Just a typical week, I guess. Nothing major, but we're leaving the 23rd to go head to Dolphin Island for a week, so
Good deal.
we're looking forward to that. That's got another couple weeks before we do that, but looking
Sounds
forward to
good.
getting away for a little bit.
Yep, we're just doing some stuff around here Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday we're heading to Phoenix, Casa Grande, actually, an hour south of Phoenix, to see a former boss of mine and his wife, and we'll be there till Sunday. So
Okay, that'll be fun.
we'll be flying Sunday, but we'll figure out. We'll text this week and see
Yeah,
when
we
we
could
can
do it some other
record.
time if you want. We could do it. I mean, we could do it on Monday morning. I mean, after Ayla goes to school or something. I mean, I'm here by
Sure.
myself, so I mean,
Yep, that'll work.
Penny wouldn't be able to hold Jeter back. He might be sitting at the door barking, but other than that, it'd be all right. But,
Yeah, no worries.
we went a little extra long today. Sorry about that, folks, but we hadn't talked to each other for quite a while. I think we covered a plethora of stuff today, and hopefully people will enjoy it. We
Definitely.
went
And
over the numbers. So again, we just want to encourage people to listen, share it with your
Yeah.
friends. We're not in this thing to make money. We said that before. We just we really want to see our subscriptions go up, though. We'd love to see that happen, and we'll never be as big as Pat McAfee, but it'd be nice if we could be on the field when the Packers play, doing a field game. That'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, if you listen on Spotify, give us a follow and hit that bell so you can be notified when we're on. And if you want to follow on YouTube, I'm going to check out our own channel, but right now we're posting these on 1114 Traveler, and you can check us out there and see us if you want to see our beautiful faces. So,
All right,
Tommy,
Mike.
you have
Good to see you, buddy.
a wonderful week. You have a wonderful week, and tell Penny hello, and we'll see you next week. Love you.
All right, love you, man. Take care.